What's up everybody, Chef Glenn B and I'm back in the kitchen, and today I'm working on San Francisco seafood cioppino. Cioppino is a San Francisco staple. It's just about as famous as anything in San Francisco. Here's my take on it. So there's a theme throughout my videos. You know that I do things fresh, local. Sometimes the recipes are a little bit more involved. There's a reasoning behind all of that though. My thought process with that is that the recipes are sometimes easy, never too hard, but always worth it. Because it's fresh, you know what I mean? And you're putting the stuff together yourself. You're not taking shortcuts. So my videos and my recipes are a little bit more involved. Hence this recipe, seafood cioppino. There are recipes out there that are super simple. Super simple. I mean, quick recipes with, can this and can that and prepared seafood stock and all that type of thing. I don't go that route. I'm going the fresh route. It's always the best way. A little bit more work sometimes, but it's always worth it. So here are my ingredients. So starting with my seafood, these are the seafood items that are going into the cioppino. I've got some cod here, scallops, clams, mussels, shrimp, and I'm making a fresh fish stock, and so I've got a fish head here. You can get a fish carcass. I just happened to see that head, so I grabbed the head. I've got some thyme, bay leaves, leeks, onions, carrots, celery, white wine, clam juice, and water. So again, I'm making a fresh fish stock. I've got to get my vegetables sauteed, but what I want to do before I do that, because again, my fish head is going into the stock, but I'm also going to use my shrimp shells. So I'm going to shell these shrimp, get everything else back into the refrigerator and hold that in there. But I'm going to put the shrimp shells into my stock as well. All right, so I've got my shrimp shelled. I'm gonna go ahead and get these split open and get them cleaned out. And I'm gonna go ahead and get my stock started. So I've got some olive oil, got my celery, carrots, onions, and leeks. So I'm gonna saute my vegetables until the onions become translucent. May see a little browning on the edge. So to my vegetables, I'm gonna go ahead and add my clam juice. I'm gonna add some white wine. Got a couple of bay leaves, fresh thyme, shrimp shells, and the fish head. Got some water. Fish head sticking up out of the water, but that's fine. We just want to extract flavor from it. So I'm going to season this with a little bit of salt, fresh cracked black pepper. I'm going to bring this to a simmer. I'm going to allow it to simmer for about an hour. All right, so my fish stock is ready. I'm ready to move on. So I need to make my base, which the fish stock is going to be part of. And I've got all of these ingredients here. I'm gonna start with olive oil in the pan. Got some celery, fennel, and onion. I wanna saute this up until it begins to become translucent. So my onions are beginning to brown on the edge. Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic. I've got some black peppercorns that I'm gonna add. Got some crushed red pepper. I got a couple of bay leaves. I'm gonna throw in my parsley. I've got some parsley sprigs. Got some fresh oregano. So I'm gonna add some white wine to the pot. I'm gonna reduce that down by about a third. So I'm ready to add my tomatoes to the pot. Tomatoes that I'm using are these Cento whole peel tomatoes. I like to use these as opposed to pureed tomatoes. I just take these, stick them in the bowl, and I crush them by hand. So I've got this strainer that I'm gonna put over my pot, and I wanna strain my fish stock into this pot. So I'm gonna season this with some salt, fresh cracked black pepper. This is gonna simmer for about an hour and a half. Once it simmers, I'm going to strain all of the solids out of it, and we'll have our cioppino base. All right, so my cioppino base is done. I'm gonna give it a little taste. I don't wanna go too heavy on the seasoning, but I wanna make sure that the seasonings are pretty close. I'm telling you, it's so rich in flavor. It's worth the effort. I mean, it's a little bit of effort. You know, all fresh ingredients, you're taking your time and you're slowly cooking this stuff. It's well worth it, I promise you. So I'm gonna set my base aside. I wanna get my seafood prepped. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut my fish. I've got this cod, and as I mentioned earlier, I wanna have chunks of fish in my cioppino. So I'm gonna cut some nice, I'm gonna go that big with these chunks. So I want to get some salt on this fish. I'm going to salt the shrimp as well, but I'm going to go ahead and get some salt on this fish because the salt is going to help to firm the fish up a little bit as it's sitting and waiting to go into the pan. The salt's going to help to make it nice and firm. We want to help the fish to not break up in the sauce. I want to try my best to keep it as whole as possible. All right, so I'm gonna add some salt to my shrimp. For my scallops, I wanna remove this mussel from the side of the scallop. This is why I said that I didn't want to over season the base of the for the cioppino, because I'm seasoning these pieces of seafood. So for my clams and my mussels, I want to get these rinsed off. I want to make sure that there aren't any beards, and I want to make sure that they're still alive. So if they're open like that, I want to make sure that when I go to close them, that they stay closed. All of my clams seem to be solid. You want to make sure there aren't any chips or holes. There aren't any beards hanging off. Make sure that they're solidly closed. All right, so I got my seafood ready to go. Let's go ahead and build this cioppino. I got my saute pan here and I got it heating up. I'm gonna start with some olive oil. Now, I don't want to go with too fast with this garlic that I'm adding to the pan. I don't want to burn it. Take my time with it. Start it off slow. All right, so my garlic has started to sizzle. I'm gonna go ahead and add some crushed red pepper to that. To this garlic, I'm gonna go ahead and add my clams. I'm gonna splash my clams with some wine. I want that wine to reduce till it's nearly gone. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my mussels. And I'm gonna add some of my Cioppino sauce. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my fish. So once you place your fish in there, you're not gonna move the fish. So I'm gonna place my lid on it for about a minute or so. So I'm gonna go ahead and place my scallops into the Cioppino. And I'm gonna go ahead and place my shrimp. All right, so my Cioppino is done. I'm gonna add some, I've got some fresh Italian parsley I'm gonna add to it. And I've got some basil that I'm gonna add to it. All right, so my Cioppino is done. Let's taste this wine. I've chosen a Bágoa do Miño Albariño. This is a Spanish wine. This is a non-vintage wine, which means that the grapes that went into this wine were from multiple vintages. So, got a little color, straw, still kind of light, very floral on the nose, floral and fruity. Like roses almost, which is, wow. I don't think I can remember that very often, but roses. And as I open it up a little bit here, oh, plenty of green apple, some lemon. Very, very expressive on the nose. Now let's taste it. So this is my first time tasting an Albariño. It's very similar to a Sauvignon Blanc in a lot of ways with the acidity, like lots of upfront acidity in a nice way. I'm getting green apple on the palate. I'm getting some vegetal, like somewhat herby, like maybe thyme or some type of herb in that way. Very nice. So let's dig into this cioppino. All right, so as you can see, my fish held up really nicely, big chunks. My clams open. Everything looks fantastic. And I've got some bread here. All right, so I'm ready to dig right in. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try this broth, because this is the key. That broth is everything. I'm telling you, as I've told you, my recipes are sometimes easy, never hard, but always worth it. This broth is worth all of the effort that I put in today for this. I promise you, if you do this, this is not your friend's cioppino. Next level. So let me try this fish. It held together nicely. My intent was that for presentation's sake, I want the fish to hold together. I don't want it to fall apart. When you get it in your bowl, you should have a nice chunk of fish. Delicious. The shrimp. Get a little dip. Wow. Now let's see if it pairs. Fantastic. So I'm not sure which is elevating which. Well, actually, I know my cioppino is probably elevating the wine, but I'm just kidding. No, but really, this wine, I think this sort of bring each other up. This cioppino is making this wine something that it wasn't when I initially tasted it. It's sort of an umami about it now. Really, really just kicks it up a notch. Takes it from an 8 to a 10. But I gotta double check. That's good eating. Perfect pairing. I'm Chef Glenn B, and as always, eat well.